Cece's kitchen table. Okay, today we're gonna make rum balls, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you the ingredients that I've used for this. I have, oh, I forgot how much. What is that? 14 ounces, 2 pounds, 4 cups, 16 ounces of diamond walnuts. And I didn't buy the ground kind because I thought I might use them in some other recipes. So I figured I could grind them myself. I bought 8 ounces of chopped pecans because I don't want to have to chop them. And I bought vanilla wafers. And that is an 11-ounce box. I have 2 pounds of white powdered sugar. Some Caro syrup. You can get, I use light, but you can get the regular. I have Hershey cocoa powder. It's for baking. It's naturally and it's unsweetened. And that one is 8 ounces. I don't normally use Hershey. I would prefer Ghirardelli, but they didn't have it, so I had to go with Hershey. And I also got some chocolate chip decorating sprinkles. And I'll tell you what I'm going to use all of this for. Oh, and I also have the Ron Rico Caribbean rum is what I'm going to use. Now, I'm not real familiar with the different flavors of rum, so I'm hoping this will taste good. We'll see what happens on this. Okay, here I have already crushed 2.5 cups of vanilla wafers, and this is a full 11-ounce box of vanilla wafers. I used every last one, and it barely made me 2.5 cups. Okay, this is 4 tablespoons of the Hershey cocoa. This is 3 cups of walnuts that have been crushed, and I put them in my Ninja. No, I'm sorry, I grinded these by hand. And this is 4 tablespoons of Caro syrup and 1 cup of confectioner powder sugar. And you know what? I didn't measure out my rum. I'm going to go ahead and put my walnuts in my bigger bowl. That's 3 cups. And I'm going to put my vanilla wafers right in there with it. And I doubled this recipe. So this is a double recipe. Normal recipe makes 60 rum balls, and this is going to make about 120. So you want to mix that all in there real good. You know, so you can get it evenly spread. Okay, and then from there I want to add my confectioner sugar. I just put the whole thing in there, and that is 1 cup. And I'm going to add my cocoa powder, and that's 4 tablespoons. And you want to mix that in. Get all that mixture in there. And you don't need a blender to do that because you're not trying to blend it, you're just kind of mixing it. You don't want to change the consistency of it. Just want to make sure it's evenly mixed. Okay, now that I got that all mixed up, you want to make sure that you don't see too many white, the white powdered sugar in there. Or everything needs to look pretty even. You're going to have little chunks because you got the walnuts in there. And, your cookies are finely ground, so that shouldn't be seeing any big cookie chunks. Now we're going to go ahead and add the 4 tablespoons of Caro syrup. And you do this because this helps bind it all together. It's kind of like the glue that holds it all together. And you don't have to use Caro syrup. You can use honey, you can use something more natural, some kind of glucose, whatever you prefer, but I happen to have light Caro syrup on hand. Okay, and now I'm going to put a 1/2 cup of the Ron Rico rum, and I'm going to mix that in there. Whew, that's strong smelling. Okay, and you just go ahead and keep mixing it until you get a real good dough ball. All mixed up together, and I found as I was mixing it that it is pretty dry, And I thought, well, you know, I followed the instructions exactly like it said. But it also said if it was dry to go ahead and add a little Caro syrup or more rum. And I chose to do both just because I like the rum. And so then I added the rum and it still wasn't quite it. So I had to add just a little pinch of Caro because I noticed at the bottom of the bowl, a lot of the powder was still stuck down there and I couldn't get it to stick. So I lifted up my mix, put the Caro syrup down in there, and then mixed it. And I got a better mix. So as you can see, there's a lot of nuts in there. And it's pretty, you know, you can make a ball out of that. You can roll that. And you want to make 1-inch balls. But right now, it's warm in here, so I'm going to go ahead and put this whole thing in the refrigerator and have it chilled because you can roll your balls easier. So I'll get back to you after this is chilled. Chill this for about at least an hour, but more is better. And also, I doubled the recipe, so a single recipe is 40 balls, and a double recipe will be 80, hopefully, if you do a 1-inch. Okay, so that's about an hour worth of chilling or more, and I'll get back to you as soon as that's done. Okay, I just took out my my rum ball mixture out of the refrigerator, and I've had it with saran wrap for about probably close to 2 hours, and it's really stiff, and you're able to make a ball with it. And I have my pecans that have already been chopped, cocoa, that's natural baking cocoa, powdered sugar, and candy chocolates that you put on cakes and stuff. And what you do is you get your dough and you roll it into about a 1-inch ball and make it as nice as you can. And if you're gonna, let's say you're gonna do the not sticking together very well. Okay, you're just gonna do this one. You want to stay in this one. You don't want to be mixing them up and going to the vanilla powder and then, I mean the powdered sugar and the peanuts and stuff. This one doesn't go on here very well. I wonder if it's because I need it more at room temperature. Well, I'm going to quit on that one. I'm going to try a different one. Let me see if it helps with the nuts. Okay. This is probably a little bit bigger than a 1-inch ball. I'm going to roll it in the nuts. Yeah, I need this at room temperature. I'm going to have to stop a minute and let this sit. Okay, this is my finished result. I've rolled my double recipe rum balls and I did not get 80. But then maybe I made my balls too big. They might be bigger than 1 inch. I made like 51 or 57 of them, something like that. I let it cool, come to room temperature, and it rolls really great in the powdered sugar and the cocoa, but not so great with the nuts or the chocolate sprinkles. And I did a little test run and I tried a little piece in each, and my favorite was the powdered sugar. I really didn't care for the nuts and I didn't care for the cocoa, and this really didn't do anything for me. So I recommend going with the powdered sugar. But what I'm going to do with mine is I'm just going to leave them plain. I'm not going to dip them in anything. But, I mean, you can make your choice of any kind of nut you want to dip them in. Some people actually dip them in a melted chocolate. You know, just melt, you know, an 8-ounce bag of chocolate and start dipping them in there. And then letting them set. And you've got a hard cover on it. But they're so chocolatey. If you're not a real chocolate person, that's a lot of chocolate between this and the chocolate coating, and you don't need it. It has everything it needs right there. So anyway, that's all that I did, and hopefully you'll make some rum balls for your holidays. And happy Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas to everyone.